Hey guys, it's Eureka. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I actually just wanted to try some lock sprinkles on my starter locks just to see how it would look, if I would like it and things like that. So if you're interested to see how to do that, then stay tuned. So for the method that I'm going to be using for this, because there's plenty of different ways that you could do it, but for the way that I'm going to do it, you're going to need needles. So I got this pack, I think at Michael's. It was like $2 or $3. I'm not really sure, but it's at Michael's. And then you're also going to need a pack of braiding hair. Now if you have colored hair like mine, get as close to your hair color as possible. And then you're going to need beads. So I think some people say glass beads, but I've seen like any type of beads. So I have these beads from Michael's and Walmart because I make waist beads or whatever. So you're just gonna need those type of beads, and that's pretty much it. So basically what I did was I took a few strands of the braiding hair and I threaded my needle with it, right? It's really thin. So this is 3 strands. I did 3 strands, and it's long enough for me to anchor and all that stuff. So once you finish threading your needle, I threaded 4 needles just so that I wouldn't be stopping every single time, which is why I recommend getting the little pack of the needles. So I threaded 4 needles, and then so now the next step is to pick your beads, whatever color you want, however you want to do it. It's your hair. Do what makes you happy. Okay, that's what I always say. Go crazy. Get whatever you want. I've seen people have like rainbow colored. Some have only had like one color. Literally, it's whatever color you want, and that's how you're going to do it. However, just make sure the size of the bead is proportionate to the size of the needle so that the needle could go inside of it. If it's too small that the needle can't go through, I'm gonna be taking some white beads and I'm going to use them. So this is the size of the beads right here. It's not too big and it's not small. It's just enough for me to be able to see it, but also I don't want it to be too big so that if I want to do a hairstyle, it'll give me any issues. I just want to show you guys how I'm doing it. So I already put the needle through the lock and I already anchored it. So now I'm going to take my beads and I'm going to put it through the needle, and then I'm going to put the needle through the lock, just like you're sewing something. Make sure you pull it tight, but not too tight. You want to pull it tight enough so that the bead itself is not loose, but also not too tight so that the hair breaks off, because it's braiding hair and it's really not that strong. So how it is here for me, I like that. So once I've anchored that, I'm just going to move my way up because I want it to be spaced out on the lock. So I'm going to move my way up and I'm going to put the next bead. And I'm just going to be doing the same thing. So put the bead and then right here. Once you've put all the beads that you want to just anchor it so that you can stop. So what I do is I just make my way down the lock, and then I put the needle through the hair again, just like I did when I was starting, so that it can be anchored and I know that it's not going to unravel. And I just make my way down and I pretty much just do the same thing. So once I've done that and I cannot, go down any further, then I just take a pair of scissors and I cut. So you can also do sprinkles towards the end of your locks, but my ends are too fine for that. So I just put them throughout the lock itself. And this is how it's looking so far. So I'm just going to go on to the other side and do the same exact thing. thing. For this last lock over here, I'm going to zoom in so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. This is the lock right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my needle and put it through the lock, and then I'm going to anchor it. So by anchoring it, I'm going to push the needle and then push it through the actual braiding hair and then pull through. And like I said before, when you're pulling through, do not pull too hard so that you do not break the braiding hair. Then I'm going to go in one more time. And then so now I'm going to get the bead and put it through the needle. So I'm going to get the bead right here and put it through the needle, and then I'm going to put it back in the lock. So I'm going to go right here, push it through, and I'm going to pull it so that I make sure it's tight so that this is not like hanging off a little bit. And then I'm going to anchor that as well to make sure, you know, it's tight. And I'm going to do it a few more times. So for me personally, I want it to be like walking up. So I'm going to make my way up the lock, and then I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to push it through, then I'm going to put the bead through the needle, then I'm going to put the needle in the lock so that it can fall exactly where I want it to, and then I'm going to pull it, and then I'm going to anchor it so that I make sure it's not loose. Okay, so because the hair that's right here is loose, it's not locked yet, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to make my way down so that I can go somewhere that is, you know, more locked, so that it's not going through the hair. It's going to stay exactly where I put it. This is the last one I'm going to do, and then I'm going to put it right here. And with this method, you can exactly, like, you can determine where you want it to fall. So that's what I'm going to do right here. Alright, so now that I'm done with all the beads that I wanted to put in my hair, I'm just going to make my way down. And as I'm going down, I'm going to anchor it so that I can guarantee it's not going to come out. So you just keep going and you anchor as you go until you cannot anchor any further. So at this point, I can't put the needle back through, so I'm just going to keep going down and going around the lock. So I'm just going around the lock, and then I'm just going to cut it off. And that is pretty much it. So this is how it's looking. Let me just show you guys. So this is pretty much how the finished product is looking. I only put in 4 locks only because I want to see if it's going to affect my hair and my routine, and then from there I'll probably go on and add on more. I just leave these 4 as it is because I usually leave like 2 strands of my hair out here anyways, because I want it to show, but I don't want it to be like too much. So I'll probably add more on as I go, but for now I'm just going to keep these 4 and just see how it goes. I also want to mention that if you do not have braiding hair, or if you just have black locks, you can use thread. Like any thread that you have around the house, you can use that thread and just do the same thing that I did with the braiding hair, and you're going to get the same exact result. Now I couldn't use the thread because my hair color is a certain color, and I tried the red thread and it just wasn't working. It was too thick. So with the braiding hair, because it's so thin, it's easier for it to camouflage within your locks, you know, as it's growing. So that's why I did that. And I do like how, you know, the white is like popping off against the red of my hair. I really like that. So I'm hoping that, you know, it doesn't really affect my hair and my routine, and I'll probably add more sprinkles as I go. But for now, that is it for this video. I hope you guys like it. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.